What is happening, guys? Welcome to the FPL Dave stream, the Monday after. It is 1936. And with me today, assistant manager, as always, it is James. How's it going, my man? How was your weekend?
Yeah, good, thank you. The way you did that intro made it sound like we were in pre-war times. It's 1936. uh, yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, really good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great now that I can see. Like, look at how sexy you look tonight. What's happened? What's going on? Did you shower?
You know what? I've got so much ribbon. I got so much ribbon for the pub tour video last week that I thought, I'm gonna put my face on tonight and really try.
You look amazing.
I saw a plastic surgeon, if truth be told.
I lost 50 pounds. No, you look great. You look golden. I can't believe it. I kind of don't want to do this anymore. I just want to sit and, stare at you. But we've got a show to do, don't we? Enough bigging your dick up. Right. Tonight, we obviously everyone's talking about the blanks. Is this happening? Who's playing this? Who should I bring in? Blah, 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 blah. Yes, blanks are really fun, right? And I kind of love talking about them. But we talk about them too much. However, what you do this game week definitely has an impact on what you're doing next week and all the players you want to bring in. And then on top of that, is there any players that we can be bringing in now that are going to actually help us in the long run, especially with the blank game week 34 that might be happening, the continuous drivel normal game weeks, and then we've got like the massive double. So I want to get into the punts that we can go for now that are based on the relegation battlers. Like, who are the people who are going to be amazing, like, that are shite? You know what I mean? Like the Antonios, the whatever Son replacement that you want that's in Spurs. I think it's Ali, but I don't like saying Ali because he's just been rubbish. But I will look at him, right? And blah 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 blah. So that's what we're gonna do today. I don't have any fun videos to start the stream off, so I'm hoping you have brought something to the table.
No, I've dug through the archives that usually hoping to find something as embarrassing for you, and I came up drawing a blank. So
mate, I've got so much stuff on YouTube that you could have found too. I was wondering if you had anything
juicy,
yeah,
juicy
just
old
absolute
videos,
sex videos. To be honest, it's just a lot of porn out there of me.
I would love to find one of those.
Oh, that's weird but flattering. I love it. So first of all, how was your game week, buddy? How did you get on?
Yeah, well, it's still going, isn't it? It's fine at the moment. Yeah, I'm on. I've got a green arrow for the meantime.
Yeah.
Which is something, I take that. I took out -4, bought in Ismail Assar and Diogo Jota, so the two kind of hype merchants going into game week 29. And obviously, none of them returned. But part of my reasoning there, as I'm sure we're going to get onto shortly, was thinking about blank game week 31. They're both going to be featuring, hopefully, barring injury, in that game week. So I wanted to have a full 11 without using my free hit. So that hit was partly to prepare for that. But Mane and Salah, I had Salah captain and also had Mane. So those two really have been responsible for the vast majority of my points so far this week.
Yeah, man. 31 points with 2 players. That's pretty tasty. It's annoying that you have now... Holly said it best. She now has, and you have the exact same players as her from Liverpool, the best Liverpool trio going forward. And it's true, and it stayed true. Like, for a little bit there, double defense seemed the best, but you guys definitely have it going on, especially for the blanks. They're going to be the only premiums that are pretty much playing. Kane's out, Son's out. There's no one, I don't think anyone in the teams that are playing are even close to that in price. They're not, are they? It's literally just them. So you guys have the premiums, and while everyone's going to be scrambling to get them in, you kind of are already benefiting from that Mane differential, from the double up, etc., etc. I'm very jealous of Mane that's just sitting there in your team, to be honest.
Yeah, it's really nice to have him now, as particularly given that he's actually a bit of a differential because so many people have Salah. So very, very lucky in that sense. You'll notice though that the rest of my team did let me down a bit. Aurier coming on in the last 12 minutes deprived me of what would have been Lundstrom's points coming off the bench. So that was quite frustrating. So it could have been a really exceptional game week had Aurier stayed off.
That is only if De Bruyne doesn't play, right?
Yeah, that's great. But if De Bruyne doesn't play now, Moy will be coming on for him.
Oh yeah, because you've got 3 defenders, so exactly, it have to have been Lundstrom.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah. Well, the
Gotcha.
FPL Tips has just said in the chat that City just posted a video of KDB in training, so
Right.
we could expect him to be back for Arsenal. So Moy will probably stay on the bench, which, to be honest, is no heartbreak for me.
Yeah, and thank you. I forgot to say at the start. I was too busy looking into your gorgeous eyes, mate. Thank you, everyone who is here live right now, and to all the new people that are on YouTube that have just like we had. So, by the way, me showing your mug in the pub talks thing have like my YouTube subscribers skyrocketed. I had like a dozen people follow me that like in one day just
Oh,
from you.
really?
It was really funny. So thank you for everyone who's just joined the Big Fat Sex Club and in the chat as well. Lessa Har's here. It's Raw. Liam's here. You know, the usual cool cats. So thank you very much. My game week, you got 52 points, by the way. I forgot. I don't know if I mentioned that. With 2 transfers
Not
in.
bad.
And your overall rank is now 121k, which is pretty decent. Pretty
That's
decent.
all right in it at this point, yeah.
It's quite good. My game week went pretty much similar to yours. I'm just over your points, but I took a hit. But the best part was the McCarthy penalty save. That was juicy. I mean, both my keepers did well, but like I know you want that. You want that penalty save, 3 bonus points. Definitely appreciated that. The double defense in Wolves kind of came good as well. Again, that was kind of the same moves as you. I actually hit James and Vardy in last game week, and it just didn't work. Like one of them didn't play, one of them like conceded 2 goals to a shit team, and I was like, that was a mistake. Let's just fucking sort this mistake out immediately, and took them both out and brought in Dockery and Jota, and it worked so far so good. James actually got benched and was brought in the like 59th minute. For Chelsea last game, so Dockery got clean sheet, so that worked out well. And then apparently Vardy may or may not be starting, so Jota 2 points is better than Vardy not starting. I don't know. Like I can't really do anything about that. So I'm quite pleased with the moves. The only thing that I didn't like about this game week was, of course, the Aubameyang blank. But apparently that wasn't his fault. It was more Nikita that didn't do well, and you know Aubameyang just sitting on the wing doing all the work but getting none of the reward.
He's got another crack at the whip though, at least. So you know, it's half time, really, isn't it? Which is something. And if we've seen anything from Man City's first game, it's that they can concede. You know, Edison did not look at all convincing in that game. So there's hope yet for Aubameyang. Lashar, sorry, I'm probably pronouncing that terribly. In the chat says, "What are you doing with Ings, Dave?"
Ings. We were asked this on the Fantasy Weekly, weren't we, last week? And I said that it'd be a good idea to get rid of him. But the only person that I could conceivably bring in for him, if I'm doing that whole, looking at these teams, I guess we'll just get right into it. And who's the teams, the players from the teams that we could potentially bring in for game week 31. West Ham would be Haller, Burnley would be Wood, Watford would be Deeney. Liverpool, I can't really afford Firmino, and I don't want to get another Liverpool player because then my team would be banned. Crystal Palace,
Jordan Ayew.
Ayew, ugh, ew. Even just looking at him makes me angry. Like, he doesn't deserve anything he does. He's just Crystal Palace in general are pretty shit, right? But he specifically, when I watch him play, like the tap-ins that he gets are good, and he interviews well. That's fine, right? But every other bit that he does, movement, his passing, like head down with when he's got the ball, like it's just really annoying. So to see people who brought him in to then get points is kind of annoying, but it's all good. Wolves, I've already got 3, and Bournemouth I don't really want a part of. I mean, I know Wilson's fun and stuff, like, and we meme about it a lot, but fuck that, man.
Well, I was gonna talk about Wilson actually. I think he could be. We're talking about these teams that have still got something to fight for.
Yeah.
I think Wilson could be an interesting punt. Maybe we'll move on to that topic specifically later in the stream. But yeah. I think Callum Wilson is up there for punts.
Well, let's look at it like this. Okay, so I've got 2 Wolves and 2. My defense is going to be 2 Wolves and 2 Liverpools, right? So that's 4 defenders right there. So I can't really bring anyone from Crystal Palace in or Bournemouth because it's a direct competition. Now I know that wouldn't matter for like over the course of a couple of games or whatever. But if we're aiming specifically for that, I don't really want to bring in a Bournemouth striker because then if they score, my Wolves is fucked. So I'm already betting on the fact that Bournemouth doesn't score against Wolves. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that is hard when there's only 4 fixtures.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm thinking whether should I bring in a Burnley goalkeeper or just leave it and get a 0 as my goalkeeper. I'm not 100% sure if I want to bring in Pope. But what the most interesting people is West Ham, and it's if I want to bring in Allaire for fucking Ings. It seems wrong. Like, you've been burned with Allaire before. I've already had him in my team and decided to take him out. I do like the idea of bringing Wood in though. Chris Wood says Tips. It's Raw says Wood as well.
Yeah.
I think it's a great plan. Gary NT said Giroud. That's his plan. Mix it up a bit. But Chelsea's really scary, one, because they don't play in game week 31, so that would only work with free hitting teams. And two, I don't know how long Abraham's going to be out. Maybe that's something we could ask the big Din.
And plus, yeah, it's Giroud hasn't been phenomenal there, has it? It's not like It's not like I feel like when Abraham's back, he's going to come back. He's not. I don't think Giroud has done enough to keep Abraham out of the team.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I agree.
Tomos has just hosted.
Oh, Tomosa, thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate that. Hello, Tomosa's 3 viewers. I hope you guys play FPL. I think Tom plays. He plays tanks, doesn't he? That's what he was into. Last time I checked, he streams World of Tanks. You ever played that? You don't play games. You don't know what I'm talking about.
The crossover though between World of Tanks and FPL it goes without saying.
And that kind of. So there you go.
No, I was going to say, it's funny you mentioned West Ham assets already, because we, of course, our theme for this stream, our question theme was wish I had insert player. Which players do we really want in our starting 11? And then we were going to go through their pros and cons. Well, the first response we had was from FPL Fella, who listed Antonio, Bowen and Sebastian Haller. So you're not the only one, Dave, who's looking at West Ham assets seriously.
I'm having a look just now. Obviously there's those three, but you've also got Snodgrass, who's kind of in the team, kind of not. I'm not 100% sure what's happening with him. He's on the screen now. He had like 90 minutes, 84 minutes, 79 minutes, doing well, and then 12 minutes, and then 1 minute. I don't really know what's going on. So he's not a reliable source of points, although he is really cheap and really in a good price point for everyone who's kind of looking for a little bit of, bench maneuvering. Like, he's great for me. I could get Moy out and bring him in, or even Hayden with just $1 million. Do you know what I mean? So it's annoying that he's not playing. However, everyone has been talking about Antonio, right? 6.9. Planet FPL has been talking about it. FS Scout, and he's been talking about. Everyone's like, oh, if I had anyone in the team, it would be Antonio. What do you know about Antonio? What's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I'm not massively convinced. We know with Antonio that he does have a lot of FPL potential. There have been phases in seasons gone by where he's gone on fantastic runs. He's got a lot of talent, but I don't know what it is with West Ham assets in general, but I've always struggled with them because West Ham as a team are so difficult to predict. We never really know which West Ham we're going to see, and by extension, that means we never really know what West Ham assets we're going to see. I found this with Felipe Anderson. He was the most recent West Ham player that I've owned in a serious capacity. I went through a Haller phase as well and experienced a similar thing. When West Ham are playing well, they represent some of the best value in the league as far as FPL prospects go.
Yeah.
But it's such a big when, and so often they disappoint, and I don't have enough trust in their assets to invest, especially when we're talking anything over 6. I think is too expensive for a West Ham player at the moment.
Oh, that's annoying, because the only two that I really, really would like, if I wish I could have Bowen. Go on, make fun of me. Go for
Bowen,
it.
Bowen, I would say. Yeah,
I really wish I could have Bowen for like 5 million. You're absolutely right. Like, put 6.5 million punt on a West Ham midfield. Like, I don't care how much they're in a relegation battle and whatever. It just feels so wrong to kind of punt on someone who's very, very under scrutinized in the Premier League, let alone FPL, right? Like, he's had 4 games and he's looked good, and he played really well against Arsenal despite not returning FPL wise. But I do know that a lot of West Ham fans are really excited about him. But when does Felipe Anderson get back in the team? When is Snodgrass getting back in the team? Like, we're bringing in these players that they have to play. Like, that is one of the things, like, certain for game week 31. They absolutely have to play. Because if they don't, you're fucked. That's another, like, missing player. You might only have 8 by that point, or 7, in which case you should have free hit in the first place. So it's a really difficult thing to just go and bring in a West Ham player. However, I'm still probably going to do it.
Yeah, you are you? Yeah,
I think so.
Whether Antonio is the one for me. I mean, you look at his goal scoring record, right? And obviously, as you say, a lot of podcasts have been talking about him.
Yeah.
And to hear the chat, you would assume that he's been phenomenal. He scored 1 goal in his last 11 matches.
I know,
So this
right?
is this
How
is
bad
not
is
a
that?
player in prolific form by any
Mm-mm.
stretch of the imagination. I just wonder whether he's being a little bit overhyped, perhaps because of a lack of other midfielders in that price category.
I think that might be it. Well, but obviously he has had like super injury. So despite having an injury and despite only scoring 1 goal in the last 11, like you said, and I think 2 assists in the same time frame, like he's still getting touted as like this amazing fucking big deal. And
Right,
it's
exactly.
weird. It's weird because it means that he's like passing the eye test, and we can think of loads of different players that absolutely pass the eye test, but you wouldn't bring in Zaha,
Yeah,
every Man United player
yeah.
except for Bruno. Yeah, like there's loads of them that like look really amazing on the wing, but then they don't really do much. And I feel like he's going to be another one. Felipe Anderson even comes to mind. And he used to be the talk of the town, right? And
He
at one
did.
point he's going to come good. Do you remember that that
Oh
goal
yeah,
drought that
God, I
happened
fell
last
for it.
year? Were you
I
on
fell
it?
for it. Hook, line, and sinker, mate.
Oh,
I
of
was
course you
all
were.
over Antonio, and the same for Sebastian Haller. You know, you'll remember at the start of the season, I was a big Sebastian Haller advocate. I see
Mm-hmm.
that Dafso3 in the chat. He said he had Haller at the start of the season as well. There was a lot of talk around Haller. Of course, he's kind of come back into vogue a little bit recently.
In vogue. I
Um,
love that.
but I can't say, much like Antonio, I can't say that he necessarily deserves the plaudits that he's getting at the moment. 1 goal in, I think that's the last 10 games.
Yeah,
So,
and it was
um,
Southampton, and I'm pretty sure Southampton were they just shot the bed, right? Everyone was talking about how maybe we should be bringing in Southampton defenders, maybe 5 game weeks ago or something, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
some people jumped on it. I decided to wait 1 game week to see if the new defender would play, Kyle Walker-Peters. He didn't, so I didn't bring him in. And then when he did come in and play, he played shit, and they lost a lot. They conceded a lot, and then the next game they conceded even more, 3-1
Yeah.
to West Ham. So I don't know if that was West Ham good or Southampton shite, and I don't really want to
Yeah,
take that game. And a lot of players that we're looking at, Antonio, Allaire, they all did well against Southampton.
for sure. And have you noticed, Dave, that whenever West Ham win a game, the question is always, was it West Ham good or was it their opponent shy?
Yeah,
And that is the thing with West Ham,
yeah.
is that I'm never really convinced by them over a 2 or 3 game period. You know, they have the odd flash in the pan of brilliance, and then they seem to regress back to the disappointing mean that their fans have become accustomed to.
So as they're the first player, the first game in Game Week 31, we've had a look at them. Let's have a look at where they are in the league table. So they're 16th right now
Yeah.
with 27 points. They're actually tied bottom three. So Bournemouth, Watford, and West Ham all have 27 points.
Yeah.
So they're third last by draw.
Yeah.
That's scary for West Ham considering their fixtures. However, we assumed they were going down. I think it was Suj on Planet FPL that counted all of the potential points that they could actually get in the next 10 games in game week 22 or something, and he was like, I'm expecting 5 points max, and they've actually done well to come back from that, and they could stay up. So they are going to be one of those fighting teams that we keep talking about, the ones where fixtures don't really matter. And looking at their fixtures anyway, they're not super ridiculous. Like, they are kind of okay normally. But the fact that they are going to be fighting that 1-0 loss against Arsenal, that 2-3 very, very close game loss against Liverpool, the 3-1 against Southampton, those are all in the same time period. So they're kind of an unknown entity. It's definitely a punt. Like, if you go for them, there's no stats to back it up, really. Like, that's what we're talking about. The
Yeah.
fixtures are good, but like, are they that good? And yes, they will be fighting, but will they be fighting enough, and all the rest of it? They've got Wolves game week 30, Tottenham game week 31, but we know Tottenham have been kind of shite anyway. And then moving on, Chelsea, Newcastle, Burnley, Norwich. So you could keep them genuinely for a little while and hope they take
Yeah.
over.
And actually, that game against Tottenham is West Ham's. You know, that's their derby, isn't it? So you have to ignore the recent form even more in that instance. So I think,
Just look at Man United, eh?
yeah. It's one of those things, isn't it, where even the hard fixtures there, Chelsea at home, Tottenham away, both of those London derbies. West Ham tend to turn up for those games, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry too
They
much
do,
about
don't
that.
they? It's really annoying. Oh, there's FPL fella in the chat. He comes in
FPL,
as soon as we start talking about West Ham. We're
that's it.
finishing
I
it.
was going to say
No one likes West Ham.
he's
That's true.
representing.
That's true. Except for a lot of Americans because they watched Green Street. Do you remember that movie?
With Frodo Baggins.
Yeah, with Frodo, with Elijah Wood.
Yeah, Frodo
Yeah,
Baggins.
yeah. And he becomes like a hard man, and everyone in their grand realized that was just acting.
Yeah, it's not convincing, is it, at all?
It's the
the
reason why I
idea?
know the song, though. They're the only
And
Premier League team that I know the song because of that movie.
he's like, once I punched someone, I was addicted. Like, it's so lame, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
so,
but you love it. I definitely
yeah,
watched that before I watched any Premier League games, and I was like, oh yeah, no, Premier League's kind of cool. I like the Bubbles song. And then
yeah.
everyone. Last Hair says Jota or DCL. I guess it would just be Jota if you're not using your free hit in Game Week 31, right? You've got DCL, don't you?
Yes, I do. I've actually got them both.
Have you got any plans for DCL?
No, well, I'm going to keep him.
Yeah.
If that's what you mean. Yeah, I'm going to.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, I'm going to keep him definitely. I think that DCL is one of the best strikers in the league at the moment. There's been so much talk about Haller and Antonio and the like, and yet people seem happy to get rid of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who has been certainly the best striker in 2020 in the Premier League, I would argue.
Wow.
So yes, he's got that blank. I'm going to keep him through the blank. He'll be one of the players on my bench.
Right, okay. Oh, you mean
and,
2020 as in like in the last 2 months, 3 months?
In the last 2 months.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. I was like, what? But
Yeah,
you mean
yeah.
you
In
mean
the
this
last
year,
few months.
actual this year. Okay, sorry.
Yes,
Continue.
yeah, sorry, this year, yeah, exactly.
Start slagging the shit out of you.
But you'll notice with DCL. Okay, so you have him for the Liverpool game.
Yeah.
I'm not confident he's going to score, but Everton, Liverpool, you know what it's like. Things happen.
Yeah, if
Strange
someone's going to
things
score,
happen
it's
in
going to be
that
him
fixture.
or Richarlison, right?
You would hope so, yeah. Leicester at home, good time to play Leicester at the moment. Tottenham away, challenging. But after that, look at that run in there. That's exactly what I want from my budget striker going into the last 5 game weeks.
Yeah.
I think that's ideal. So I will be keeping him, yeah.
And obviously, there's going to be a double game week in there somewhere for him, which we have to remember. It means like you don't have to bring him in for a double. And Everton as a double game week, striker. Everyone who doesn't have him is aiming for game week 34. But I think I'm going to be bringing him in game week 32. Like I'm just going to get ahead of that curve. Leicester, Tottenham's nothing but a thing. And also we have to remember that Everton are 12th, but the top spot the last ever spot, I think, if Man City don't get to play next year, is 7th now, and Everton are 6 points away from that.
Interesting, yeah. I mean, it's funny, innit? With the way that the league's working out at the moment, almost every single team has a chance of qualifying for Europe.
Which is great. Yeah, Newcastle are 8 points away. Southampton 9 points. 3 wins for Southampton, and all these teams losing gets them a top spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing is that I don't think with Everton we can look at that and think, okay, they're not gonna be on the beach. I think Everton. Unless there are some exceptional events that take place, I think Everton are going to have very little to play for come the latter 4 or 5 game weeks of the season. But I mean, with the Euros coming up, it's always hard to quantify the idea of incentive when it comes to playing, because Dominic Calvert-Lewin by right should be in that England squad, but he might feel like he needs to consolidate his place with some good end of season performances. So that's a conversation that I'm sure he'll have with the manager, and you never know, do you? There's individuals certainly have something to play for, even if their teams don't.
Yeah, and I've got the Tim Byers new form machine cool thingy here. I don't exactly want to know what it's called, but it's actually really, really cool. So it pinpoints form over fixtures or fixtures over form, and Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin are very, very close to being buy potential, even though their fixtures aren't very good. They're kind of chopping the form charts.
Can you explain this table? Can you just explain which side do you want to be on?
Yeah, so you want to be in this middle bit, this green bit here. This is like the main bit, right? On the very right, you've got like the best fixtures ever. So Wolves have the best fixtures, and you can see as we go up the table towards the buying part, like Wolves are are absolutely there. Jota, Jimenez, Traore, etc. Right?
Uh-huh.
Because they've got the best fixtures. And then on the other side, you've got Calvert-Lewin. You've got a lot of City players because they're really, really good. They're past this middle, I guess this part. This is like the best part. It's a little bit confusing. I grant you, but it's it's really interesting for me.
It's cool though.
And so Everton are there. So these are kind of the best players you can buy that are not currently with good fixtures but are in great form. And then these are the other side of that, which is best fixtures, maybe not best form, and then in the middle here is like best of both worlds, good form, good fixtures, and then the majority of players down here which have not got good form and not got good fixtures. Obviously, this is a caveat of like, so Abraham's sitting there and unfortunately hasn't played in ages, so you got to take it with a grain of salt. But like Mane, Firmino, and Salah are currently sitting right there. Like, so it kind of makes sense. Ings is up there as well, although he's losing a bit of form, so he'll track down the table, etc. But what I wanted to show was that Calvert-Lewin thing. He's been sitting around here for ages, despite having really, really bad fixtures. He's been hanging out with the City boys over here, so he can hang in terms of his non-penalty XGA. He's been doing exceptionally well for the last like 5 games. Now we know he's been doing amazing, and everyone's kind of like, I think the only reason not everyone owns him is because he's blanking in game week 31. Genuinely.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I mean, obviously that's a good reason not to own a player at this stage. There's no point in bringing Calvert-Lewin in now. I think I want to make that clear. For me, I've already got him. I've gained a bit of money on him as well, so I've had him for quite a while.
Yeah.
So it's an easy keep for me. It's
wow,
an
he's
easy
6.4 million now. Fucking hell. Was he like 5.2 when he started going up or something?
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure, but he's had quite a stratospheric rise.
Yeah, but that's still really, really good because he went down to 5.7, sorry, and now he's back at 6.4. That's mental. All right, let's move on.
How much did I buy him for, Das? I can't actually remember. I think he was around 6.
You can check if you go to your shit. Yeah, but you don't have to do it now.
Yeah,
Das can wait.
What? I don't have my login, but I think it was about 6, Das. I got him kind of late January, I think, so before he kind of really got popular. Das also said, It's Raw says we don't know if the Euros will be this year, though, referring to my comment about incentivized individuals. I suppose perhaps not. Fingers crossed.
we are almost getting through a whole thing without talking about it.
We're not going to say it.
Oh, that's funny. All right, let's move on. So the next on the list, where are we? Let's go to the fixtures. Game week 31. We talked about West Ham. Do you want to talk about Spurs? What's your opinion on the Spurs assets?
Yeah, obviously we've just heard about Bergwijn's injury. He looks like he's probably going to be out for the rest of the season. I don't really think that's going to devastate many FPL managers. He didn't really make a huge impact, not in the way that Bruno Fernandes has. I mean, Spurs are very difficult to invest in at the moment, aren't they? Because, of course, they're lacking not only Son and Kane, but now Bergwijn too. All of their forwards are dropping. I did last stream give Ali a shout. He, of course, scored last week, albeit a penalty. But, the fact that he's on penalties adds to his value, in my opinion. He's the only one that I might consider from that Spurs side. But again, in kind of the same way that I want to avoid West Ham assets, I kind of want to avoid Spurs assets because I don't trust the team at the moment. And that's my concern with them, really. I've still got Serge Aurier, and Serge Aurier will be staying in my team, certainly until at least blank game week 31.
He's a blank player now. You got to keep him.
Exactly. And
it looks genius bringing him in now.
he's been a faithful servant to me. Of course, scored a couple of weeks ago. Annoyingly came on for a cameo this week, which he does do now and again. Yeah. But Aurier, and I genuinely believe this now, I think Aurier is Spurs' most potent attacking threat.
He's had 28 points since game week 23, and that's about the time when you brought him in.
He's doing all right. Yeah, I've had him through the -1 as well. I've had him for quite a long time.
Oh, did you? All right. Well, he's been ticking along, hasn't he? Have you played him every game?
Yeah, he has. Yes, I have indeed. Yeah. He's great, and I genuinely think that Mourinho is starting to realise that. Whereas obviously usually when you when you're losing a game, you don't bring on defenders. Yeah. Mourinho, I think he brings on Aurier.
Bring Aurier on because he's a winger, and he might play further up now. The thing he's dead, right?
phenomenally dangerous. I mean, I got laughed at when before Christmas I described him as the best attacking defender in the Premier League. But I kind of still stand by that because he just looks so damn lethal.
But Alonso's back, so I mean,
Come at me. Come at me.
What is it? Don't at me. That fucking cringy.
Don't at me. Come at me. Come at me.
I'll come at you. I will. I'll do it. Just looking at, I know your pretty face is in the way. I need to move it a tiny bit for 2 seconds, right? If we're looking at the midfield that is probably going to play now that all the injuries are coming in, Ali, Luka Moura, and Lamela is probably the ones that are going to be playing now that Bergwijn, Son are injured. Eriksen's away, Sissoko's away. I'm pretty sure. No, he's injured. Sorry. They don't really have any other kind of like forwards except for maybe Lo Celso, but I'm pretty sure that he's done no attacking returns this season. So he's not someone that we need to pay attention to unless we can see that he's moving up. So if you want to bring in like a punt player, I don't mind bringing in Lamela. He looked kind of okay when he came on.
Won the penalty, didn't he?
Won the penalty, so he got an assist. Both games that he's played in the last two. So he's not bad, and I think he's probably going to start at least the next couple, so I don't mind him as a punt, but I don't think I would spend that much money like Ali just for one game. Would you want to keep any Spurs players afterwards?
No, I don't think you would, and this is it, isn't it? Is that they are, a pundit on Sky for their last game was saying that they are 3 transfer windows away from being a proper complete team, and I think Mourinho just wants to kind of guide them through the remainder of the season without too much embarrassment. And then, if they manage to get a European spot, lovely. But I think his concern, I think he'll be looking to make moves over the summer. And until that point, I'm not that interested in Spurs personally.
No, absolutely makes sense. They are one of those teams that are going to be fighting. But yeah, there's Arsenal that you could bring in that. They might blank game week 31, but I would rather have them because they just have more of a complete team, more of an attacking team. Whereas every time an injury happens in Spurs, they just kind of lose like another really good player, and it's just like they're turning into like a mediocre team. Like they're kind of like a Burnley now. They've only got one good player, or like Crystal Palace, for example. Lasse here, I currently have Trent Alexander-Arnold, Sarr, Salah, Gomez, Bolly, Jimenez. Can get 2 more players in for blank game week 31, free hit or not. What did we say last time? 8 or more is okay?
Yeah, I think 8. I think 8 is the cut-off. So he can make moves. He's got 6 players already.
2, 6. I was just counting that. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then maybe another transfer.
Yeah, Daft actually says bring 4 in and use 2 hits.
That's exactly what I'm doing. And I'm going to have 10.
So, yeah, and I think that's probably worth it. I mean... I think if you can save your free hit, that's worth at least 8 points.
But make sure you're bringing in the players that you're going to want to keep afterwards. Like Watford, for example, we can move on to them. Like we just said with Spurs, we don't really want them afterwards, so they're not they don't really interest me. I don't think so.
See, Liam Healy, in response to our Twitter question, has mentioned Sarr as one of the players that he wishes he had. And Ismaila Sarr, of course, I bought in last week ahead of game week.
Oh, no, I meant Spurs. I know. I totally want Watford. That's what I was going to say.
Oh, sorry.
The opposite. So Spurs, just like Spurs, and we don't want them. The opposite is true for Watford. It was there. My transition wasn't as smooth as what you would probably do.
No. Sorry, that was my bad. Yeah,
so if we look at 2 game weeks later, right? So game week 32 and onwards, the best teams to own are Man United, West Ham, Man City, Everton. It says Spurs there, but we've already talked about that. And then in Watford aren't there at all. So it's interesting. They're like 6th or something, right? Southampton, Chelsea, Norwich, Newcastle, West Ham, Man City, Arsenal. But the thing to note there is they have 4 home games. Is what I really like. And their away games is like another fighting team, West Ham. So I can see a lot of goals in there. Arsenal for the last game, I would love that. Like Arsenal are going to be fighting, Watford are going to be fighting right to the death. I think they're absolutely amazing assets to get in there. If you could do, remember when people were bringing in Ronaldinho that brought in like DCL and Richarlison for like Ancelotti coming in and was like, yes, let's do it. And he just absolutely wiped the floor. The two people that I would bring in for Watford for that period would be Deeney and Sarr. And just let them go run riot and be like, if they don't come back, like how much did I spend? 12 million or something? Like nothing. The same amount that you'd spend Mane on. And I reckon they're going to score more points than a Mane in the last couple of game weeks.
It's Raw said, I really hope Watford stay up. Do you think they will stay up, Dave?
I don't actually know. I'm really bad at figuring out what teams are gonna like. I can figure out what players are gonna do well in the teams, but if you told me like this team versus this team over the course of the season, I'm not really good at that. How good are you?
No, well, not great, but I think I would say...
And that's the show, folks.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks for joining us. I would say Watford are, they're on the right trajectory, certainly. So it's Raw. I think we're probably going to be in luck there. Taken OSRS. Good evening, he says. Good evening,
happening, mate? He is...
Welcome.
Yeah, he taken OSRS is actually China Tom. He's China Tom, and he's
China Tom.
China Tom.
Cool.
You know China Tom. Anyway, what was I going to say? Norwich are definitely going down. Are we 100%?
Are we 100%? Never say never. Never say never with the Canaries, mate. Anything's possible. Okay. But I think you can't legislate for them staying up, can you? We have to assume that they're going down.
Right, okay. And then Aston Villa or Grealish FC, it doesn't look good for them either. Aston Villa, just as to the last 10 were great for these teams, like the last 10 for Aston Villa, they are at the bottom. They are dead last. Wolves, Liverpool, Man United, Everton, Arsenal, and the only good games they've got in there are West Ham, which we think they're not going to play well. West Ham are actually fighting just as much as Aston Villa, and then Crystal Palace, who... they might get something from there. I don't know. Are you going to be bringing in Pookie?
No, not a chance, mate. Not a chance.
Would you do it if I gave you a tenner?
Yeah, I'd do it if you gave me a tenner, mate.
Would you really? For a tenner?
Yeah, if you give me a
tenner. I will
tenner,
send you a tenner to bring in Pookie.
I don't care that much.
It's only your livelihood.
Okay, I'll take
cool.
a tenner any day. That's the most money that I'm going to make from FPL this season, let me tell you
What,
that.
really? You're not in any cash leagues or anything?
No, yeah, but I won't win them. Lass has said double Burnley defence for 31. That's interesting, isn't it? Lots of people with Pope. Do you reckon double up is on the cards there? Charlie Taylor perhaps as well?
My problem is, again, like we talked about, like game week 31, who have we got that are Burnley are playing Watford, aren't they? And we've just been talking about like Sarr and Deeney.
Yeah, but we have to acknowledge that clashes are inevitable when we've only got 4 fixtures. Like I think you just have to maximise. It could be that Pope saves a penalty, but Sarr scores a hat-trick, for example.
Yeah, let's just hope for fucking penalties. You're right, mate. No, I'm completely wrong.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is that...
No, I know.
Yes, we talked about how good Sarr is, and you talked about Deeney, but equally, when you look at those fixtures there, we have to have defenders at the end of the day. We've got Liverpool, we've got Wolves. Do you want Spurs? Well, we talked about how good Antonio is, so... I think Burnley is probably the third favourites there to keep a clean sheet.
Fair enough. So if you're gonna actually run down the defence, then yeah, you're probably gonna have to have Burnley assets. Oh, I don't like it. I just hate having my strikers coming up against the defenders, especially if it's just one.
Yeah.
week.
Oh man, so do I. Yeah. I mean, it's never nice, is it?
So what I would do then is I would pick a defender that I know I would want for the rest of the season. And Burnley, unfortunately, haven't got like the best fixtures, and I don't think they're going to be fighting. That's another thing that I wanted to bring up. Like, do you think Burnley are going to be like they're nowhere? They're 10th.
Yeah, they're a quintessential mid-league finish, aren't they? Which I think they'll be happy with, given the start that they had. Taken OSRS, aka China Tom, apparently said he's considering Tarkowski. For Burnley, which is interesting. Daft is considering Zaha at Crystal Palace.
This is what the blanks does to us, man. We just bring in these fucking shit players.
That's it, man. That's it. It's kind of fun, though, isn't it, to have the opportunity? Yeah, like Zaha, it's probably not the worst option for 31.
I think it's Pope or nothing. If I'm definitely considering getting a defender in, then it would have to be Pope and hope for the save points, because I don't think any of their assets are worth getting in for those attacking values. They don't have an Aurier, right? They play a 4 at the back, and they play a very defensive fullback, so they don't really venture out too much.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
I would rather Van Aanholt, really, if I was going to go down that route. I was going to try and like do some stuff, but then they play Liverpool, so you're fucked.
Yeah. No, it's tricky, isn't it? It is tricky. So what's your optimal defence then for game week 31, Dave?
Well, I've actually kind of got my optimal defence, I think.
So it's the double Wolves, double Liverpool.
Double Wolves, double Liverpool, and then just like ignore the keeper. The keeper might be my like just don't do anything with. And that's my man that I don't get any points from, because I'm not expecting clean sheets too much from any of those. And like I said, most of them are going to be doubling up. So if I have Wolves and I have Liverpool, it means that I'm free reign to get any attacker in, because I'm not going to bring in any Crystal Palace players. Actually, the only ones I can't get in is Bournemouth. That's the only restriction that I could really get, because Crystal Palace I'm not interested anyway. I wouldn't do it even if I could. And Bournemouth, I would really only want like King or Wilson, and it's Bournemouth. Like, they've been shit for ages and they deserve it. And and they're like third from the bottom. They're tied with the Watford and West Ham, and I'd much rather have West Ham fighters or Watford fighters than Bournemouth. Is there anyone we're missing on Bournemouth? What happened to Fraser?
Well, Fraser, he had a pretty good game against Liverpool. Had that shot incredibly saved off the line by James Milner. I don't know if you saw that, but it was a classic James Milner, really, just absolute warhorse. But he would have otherwise scored had it not been for that exceptional piece of play. So I mean, he's still playing. He's returned, and he looked pretty good, to be honest, against Liverpool. Which isn't an easy feat when you're playing the champions. So I don't know. He's another interesting one. Like, I wouldn't rule him out this season, but for me, I mean, no Bournemouth players yet, apart from maybe Wilson, have shown enough to get me thinking about them. If you were playing your free hit, Dave, who would your front three be, do you reckon? Oh,
great question, mate. Free hit.
Thank you.
Oh, I'd probably go with fuck knows. Jota, Jimenez, and Dini probably. I'd probably go for those three. The I don't think I'd go for Firmino at all.
Okay.
But because everyone's kind of bringing in Jimenez or Jota, and I don't really have that luxury, I've just went for the double Watford Wolves defense. But I'm not 100%.
Taken agrees, actually. He says Dini, Jota, Jimenez, no question. So you're both on the same page there in the chat.
What about you? What would you do?
Well, I've actually got Jota and Jimenez, and I would probably be inclined to choose both of them. I might go for Firmino, just because I think the value of a free hit comes in playing a few differentials. I think if you're going to go for the template, you're not going to profit in the way that you would hope from a free hit.
Yeah.
So I might actually be tempted to go for Firmino on that reasoning alone. The other thing that I find with a free hit, especially in a blank, is a struggle usually to spend 100 million. So it's not like you need to go for free budget forwards.
Yeah.
Obviously, the template these days kind of means that a lot of managers are going for free budget forwards. But on a free hit, I might be tempted to go for Firmino just because I haven't really had a premium attacker this season, and I like the idea of having one.
It's my only chance.
still hasn't scored at home though. Firmino, bless his heart, had a few opportunities against Bournemouth, but still hasn't.
Know it. Don't I know it?
Oh man,
8 game weeks or whatever, blanking. What a fucking dickhead. I think if I was going to free hit, right, I think I'd have Salah, Mane, Ali, and Sarr. I'd have Dini, Jota, Jimenez, and then whatever defense I could kind of muster that has the least impact on those strikers.
Yeah. Sorry, mate, you go.
It would be Doherty, maybe Pope if I have to, and Alexander-Arnold or something, and then just like 3, I don't know, absolute punts. Yeah, Van Aanholt, whatever.
Yeah, I like that. Daft has put Haller, King, and Pookie game week 4 lineup. It's so true, isn't it? That is the game week 4 front three.
That
it could come back.
I want to look. I'm gonna look.
Game week only.
I'm gonna look. I want to see what your hold on. Game week 4? Did we say? Let's
game
look back.
4,
Woo, go back. Woo. Oh, you played your wild card game week 4, son.
Oh shit.
To bring in Allaire and Barnes with
Oh,
Greenwood on the
but
bench.
I never knew that I'd owned Barnes this season.
I
God.
love that you didn't know that. Let's look at mine. I'm curious now. Let's do
I'll
it.
tell you what, it's not radically different to the kind of team I'd have now.
No. Oh wow, there's the Pookie,
There you go.
Allaire, and then we both had
Haller,
Greenwoods.
Pooch, yeah, both had Greenwood, yeah,
That
yeah.
Pookie fucking arsehole.
Yeah, see, I haven't owned Pookie this season.
Oh,
Actually.
really?
That's one player that I don't know if you remember, but back in the earlier days of Fantasy Weekly, I was very stubborn about not owning Pookie because I was convinced he was going to drop off. And well, what can I say? I guess I was right.
You missed that. You missed that 12-pointer though, son, against City.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. He frustrated me for a long time. To be fair to him.
Yeah, and then he did nothing. How long do you think I kept him for? That'd be a good, fun little game. So game week 5, he blanked for like 10 game weeks after that.
If we had drinks, we could do like a shot every time you keep Pookie.
Yes, I really want to do an FPL drinking stream. That'd be amazing. Okay, let's keep going because we're talking about the fighters and we're talking about. I think we've got a good rhythm going on here. To tell you the truth, where are my fixtures? Game week 31. Oh shit! I put in game week 4. It'll take me ages to go back. And page not found. Amazing. Love this. Love it.
FPL Lieutenant says on Twitter, I wish I had a real girlfriend. He's of course referring to our question theme, which was about wishes, which players we wish. I wish I had a real girlfriend, not this blow-up doll. Any tips on keeping a relationship whilst being a hardcore FPL player? Well, Dave, you do it.
Yeah.
What
Not
would you
without
say?
its difficulties.
What's your advice, mate?
I just I unplug her. It's a lot easier than it sounds. Or you just rip a little hole and you take the tape off, and then she goes, and then the air comes out, and then you're kind of good, and she doesn't shout at you anymore. No, my genuine answer to that is like compromise. Like I'm doing this. I do this Monday. So Monday I get home like 6:30. I then get dinner and I like can do half the dishes if I've got time, and then I jump on do stream for an hour, and then I've got 15 minutes, and then we do Fantasy Weekly recording, and then after Fantasy Week recording finishes around 10 o'clock, I have 2 hours before I need to go to bed, and that's when I do the editing.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what I was going to
I held that word there for a minute. So yeah, so I am FPLing it out my nut like Monday from 7:30 till midnight, and that means I then have to watch the game the next day if there's a Monday night game, or I could maybe cheekily put it on while we're doing the podcast. But you guys tend to notice when I'm not paying attention. So yeah, I don't really. Basically, what I said to my girlfriend was like, Mondays, that's my day, and then maybe a wee stream on a Thursday, and every other day like we could do whatever, and it's like cool. She's really, really supportive actually.
Yeah, great, good stuff. So there you go. That's some solid relationship advice for FPL Lieutenant. See, look, we've got it all, Dave. FPL advice check, relationship advice check.
Yeah, sexy grooming advice check. How do you get so chiseled? Right, is there anyone we didn't talk about?
I use various pieces of software.
Photoshop advice.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly.
So is she subbed to the YouTube, Dave? I'm sure I subbed for her a while ago. Yeah, I think so. She's also on Amazon Prime. Speaking of Amazon Prime, it's a new month. It's March. If you got Amazon Prime and you don't use it, you could use it on the stream and you could chuck us some money. I could get a haircut. He could keep getting haircuts. You know, we like money. But yeah, if you want to support the stream, we've got a lot of fun stuff coming up and blah, 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 blah. We love doing this for free. We would love to be paid for it more. It would be nice. It would be nice. We've got 6 minutes left, mate.
Yeah.
What teams haven't we talked about? We didn't talk about Wolves or Liverpool. I feel like we don't need to talk about them. Like two attackers, one defender, 2 defenders, 1 attacker, and that could be for any one of those teams that I just mentioned. It doesn't like Liverpool and Wolves are like synonymous with each other.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I mean, if we just to delve a little bit, do we think that the double Liverpool defense is done now?
It's too hard to get rid of it.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like if
have you got it? You've got it.
Yeah, I've got it, right? So I would need to take Gomez out, and then I would need to take out De Bruyne, and then I would need to like swap some money about, and that's bad because I'm wasting 2 transfers I could be making on, you know, another free hit or not free hit, blank game week 31 player. So I'm taking out an actual playing player in Gomez.
Yeah. I hear
and then
you.
having to do, and I could take out Aubameyang and stuff and do that, but then that's a striker position if I wanted to keep Kevin De Bruyne. You know what I mean? Like there's all this, and I can't fuck that, mate. Like it's too much work. Yes, I would love
mean
to
a big
have
overhaul
Mane.
for you, wouldn't it?
For free hitters, I think they've kind of got that advantage. They could start working on that and bringing that out and moving money about. But for me, it's just too difficult. I can't even look at them.
Yeah, Taken says I'd go Salah, Mane, Trent if I had a choice, but having Gomez makes that too hard without wildcard free hit, which is basically what you were saying. Yeah, a lot of overall. Do you regret that, Dave? Do you feel like, if you could turn back time, you probably would have gone for Mane and Salah?
Find my way. No, because then I wouldn't have Fernandez, right? Like I actually moved a lot of money around, so now I have a pretty decent. Like I've got Doherty when I wouldn't be able to afford him, and Fernandez. I would need to take that money down and then move it. And I've also got a premium striker, and Aubameyang has actually been doing very well for me since I brought him in. An 8, a 13, and so far a 2 this game week, but I'm not 100% sure where that's going to end. So he's been doing really well. So I'm pleased with that. Mane hasn't really fucked me that much because when I brought him out, he was injured, mind. So I would have had to keep him through the injury and all that stuff. Whereas you kind of kept him and just benched him and hope for the best, right? He actually only missed a few games.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but no, you're right. I think I'm glad that you don't have any regrets there because, with all due respect, I think a lot of managers in your shoes probably would regret that double Liverpool defense, given how when you backed it, they were doing so well defensively, and it's been unlucky that they haven't managed to maintain that.
What did I get with that? So he got a 6 and an 8 for me, and then a 1, a blank, and a 2. So three blanks, 2 clean sheets. That's not terrible. It's not
terrible, but when you compare it to 1 goal conceded in the previous 10 games, I suppose it's uncharacteristic.
And Mane kind of got almost just as much points in one game. But like I said, Fernandez, I would have missed those points, and Aubameyang, I would have missed those points. So yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I'm not 100% like, oh fuck me, I'm raging. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Had I wildcarded right now, it'd be okay. Did we miss any other teams then?
I don't think so. No, we haven't given Bournemouth much time, but that's I don't necessarily think we need to.
That was by design.
We've covered all 8 now, haven't we? We have covered all 8. And really, the moral of the story is Liverpool and Wolves, and then it's basically just a free for all after that, isn't it?
Yeah. So going up, we got Spurs. We'd probably get Lamela if you had to. Ali. West Ham would be Antonio potentially. Allaire if you had to do that, but I prefer Dini. You've also got Sarr for Watford there, and maybe a defender if you wanted to bring one of them in. I actually wouldn't mind a wee defender from Watford, but I'm not 100% sure if I want to go down that route, but they are really cheap. But what is cheaper would be Burnley, and they're also at home, so you'd kind of back them to get a clean sheet. And like you said, they're kind of third best for having a clean sheet that week. And you could get Wood as well, who would be better than Allaire. Moving down, Liverpool, self-explanatory. Crystal Palace, probably no one. You could bring in Zaha if you want daffs, but fuck me, man. Like, you're just gonna hit him out like the next game week. And
Das has made a great point, actually. He said he's triple captained Aubameyang this week, which obviously he's not the only one.
Yeah.
Still scored more points than Mane already and still got a game on. So that is worth remembering to anyone who's a bit unhappy with their Aubameyang captaincy or triple captaincy.
That's a fair point. Oh, now he's going to break his fucking leg or some shit, isn't he? He's going to break his leg like before the game just to ruin it. We've jinxed it all.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hopefully not for his own personal welfare sake, but it would be great for my FPL team.
I love that. I love when we've got to like remember that we're being diplomatic because we're speaking to the public. But I love just this is the only stream you could come in and be like me. I hope Kevin De Bruyne has a setback and he can't play for the rest of the game, the rest of the season, because it's very, very good for my overall rank. And and everyone will be like, you know what, I agree.
Totally.
Andy said on Twitter, it was like 1 point. Kevin De Bruyne cameo. Too much to ask, and got like 400 likes. But the only way that happens is if he's still a little bit injured. So we all we know what we're talking about here. We're kind of tittling on the edge of, I hope he's fucking dead.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
But yeah, no, that's been an hour, mate. Is there anything? Do you want to? Was any sentiments? Any last things? Any funny shit?
I'm just gonna check the Twitter, make sure we haven't missed anyone's questions. Oh, Tom Morris T on Twitter has put, I wish I had a free hit strategy for 31-37. Well, hopefully you do now, Tom. Having
that's
watched
China
this
Tom.
stream. Sorry?
That's China Tom.
Oh, that's China Tom.
Yeah.
Oh.
This you're now gonna get to that point where you don't know who's in the chat and who's in Twitch and who's in
just
fucking
so many
Twitter.
Toms.
There's so many names. Like everyone has like 5 names. It's really difficult to keep it together.
It is. Oblivious Gaming, I bought in Sar on a hit and I already think he's a trap, lol. Same here and same here. Oh. No, I don't. I think he's points per game. Sar's doing pretty well. I would keep the faith in him, mate. No sentiments from me though, Dave. Only thanks for having me on again. It's been lovely, and I will speak to you in 14 minutes for the Fantasy Weekly podcast.
Yes, I can't wait to talk about it all over again. Thank you very much for everyone showing up live. If you're watching on YouTube, that would be awesome if you would subscribe if you haven't done that already. And me and James are doing something very special on the weekend. Next stream you'll see me is probably still Thursday, but we're doing something awesome on Saturday. Stay tuned for that. Everyone else, I'll see you later. Bye. Thanks for coming.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Can I talk? What's that?
No.
Oh, sorry.